going to call the Cromwell Town Council regular meeting of Wednesday, July 9th, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. Brian, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Please stand if you're able. No worries, Jack. Thank you. Mr. Town Manager, Ms. Secretary, are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion approved.
Motion made by Al, seconded by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Mayor's update, we were together 2.5 weeks ago, so there hasn't been too many things occurring. I want to say that I attended the Travelers Tournament after our last meeting. Everyone did such a fabulous job, but I have to give such a huge shout out to our first responders and for our town police department, and all the mutual aid from the other departments as well. To host the largest sporting event in New England, or second largest sporting event in New England, largest in Connecticut, and to have that many visitors come in, they did a phenomenal job. And I know that there were some concerns from some residents about traffic. The police department is always analyzing and assessing the situation, but their number one job is public safety, and in that they excelled. We had a flawless tournament with huge record-breaking attendance. I understand the Thursday was a record this year because it was a federal holiday, so we were getting Saturday and Sunday crowds on Thursday, and I just want to tell the chief, I know he's not here, but Mr. Town Manager, please pass along to the chief my thanks and congratulations on a job well done to him and his team. And otherwise, me and the town manager attended the charter revision meeting last week. I think we had a really fruitful discussion. One of the things that I'll be working on to present at next week's charter revision commission is we've decided, after talking with charter revision, that we've talked about the need to make sure that we're maintaining and reviewing and assessing our facilities. And after discussion with the town manager and the town attorney and the commissioners, it was decided that that would probably be better suited for an ordinance versus something in the charter itself. So I'm going to be putting together something I'd like the Charter Revision Commission to look at what I'm thinking for an ordinance to make sure there's no down ripple effects that need to be put into the charter, but otherwise I'll probably be bringing back an ordinance to you all through the natural approval process to set up some kind of facilities commission or committee that would be composed of members of the Board of Finance, Board of Ed, Town Council, and then we're going to try to work with the town manager to figure out what town staff to have a group that is constantly assessing and revising and helping plan for maintenance of all of our facilities, including the Board of Ed facilities. So that way we can build on the planning that we've been doing over the last 2 years together. But with that said, does anyone have any questions for me on anything? One other thing, the housing bill that we had sent over, it did not pass, or did pass, but the governor didn't sign it. There's probably going to be a special session, and I think that, and I'm hopeful that during the special session they'll revisit things like the no parking requirements if you have more than 24 units. I'm hopeful that they'll revisit the commercial as a right-of-way, that you can build residential in a commercial zone no matter what, and revisit the transit-oriented district having priority for grants in the future. I think there's a way to invest in affordable housing and making sure that working people have somewhere to live, that it's affordable, that doesn't require upending the entire zoning ordinances that we've very carefully and very laboriously put together. I think there's a way to balance those interests and make sure, and parking is always an issue that we have with developments. I know we had that with the Nike site. Parking was a big issue over there, and that's now been resolved. But, we know that these are things that residents want when they move into an apartment or a complex. They want parking. They want to make sure that it has green space. They want to make sure that it's set back so far from neighbors. So we're mindful that those things are important, and I think the town has done a really good job of being forward-thinking with things like accessory dwellings and changing, updating their zoning ordinances to address that. And I'm not just saying that because Mike's in the room, but I think that we have been doing the work to try to find alternative ways to let people be more creative with the housing that they have. And hopefully a special session now that will be a little more fruitful. But if there are no further questions, I'll move on to the town manager. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's see, one of the big concerns that our citizens have been expressing was the car tax, and I want to remind those members of the council, first of all, this is established by state statute now, and they're not using Kelly Blue Book. They're going MSR manufacturers, whatever, and that's what the guide is now for the assessor. And just so you're aware, it was about 19% of our taxpayers' vehicles went up, and 81% either stayed or went down lower. And if you remember, we came to you, or I came to you, and asked if you wanted, you have the option of raising it or keeping it the lowest possible, and we discussed it further, and the council's concession was that it would stay at the lower rate. So our taxpayers are actually paying the lower rate rather than the higher rate that the municipality is allowed to charge. I'm presently continuing to negotiate with the town hall union. We've had several productive meetings, and I think we have one tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, I think. We're waiting for the bathroom to be constructed by United Concrete. We're all set for that at the high school. We're closing out fiscal year 25, and that's about all I have, other than I echo what the mayor said about charter revision, and I concur with the outstanding job that our police department did again, handling the tournament, and with minimal complaints. As always, there's going to be some. The number one event now is when they brought NASCAR in, I think, where is it, New Hampshire? Unfortunately, that knocked us out of the box as number one for New England, but we are number two. And I'll be happy to answer any questions any counselors may have.
Tony, we don't have a hard copy of your report, do we?
No, I didn't write one today.
All right, okay.
Any questions for the town manager? Hearing none, we'll move right along to F1, financial review and approve appropriation in the amount of $8,000 to support employee classification upgrade and temporary hiring of additional staff member to cover the duties of a leave of absence. Okay.
Our chief building official, unfortunately, will be requiring significant time off from time to time, and as such, been in discussion with Dave Jolly, our former chief building official, who's willing to come back and give a hand when needed. And we estimated that we would need approximately $8,000 for the period in which John would be out. And I also need some funding to raise John Schmiegel to chief building official if the period exceeds as outlined in their collective bargaining agreement. Happy to answer any questions.
Go ahead, Al.
Tony, the building department, when they do their inspections and everything, they make money for the town of Cromwell. We don't lose anything with them. And as far as like with Dave Jolly, cover more territory, which would be a great idea than Mr. Smeagol working by himself. So I'm kind of in favor of it.
Well, we do have a number of developments going on. It's a busy season. We still have the Carrier single-family homes. The Carrier apartments are supposed to get started. Popeyes started, and we have usual home improvements and other types of events that need to be covered by the building department. So I'm not saying that I'm gonna bring Mr. Jolly in 100% of the time if Mr. Egan is out, but I need the funding to bring him in for whatever we decide during that period. And yes, we do charge building fees for specific job functions.
Does the carrier project have a start date as to when they're gonna start the demo? I know we got them a grant and everything else. I mean, where the Red Lion was.
No, the Red Lion is now they're debating whether they want the grant because of the conditions imposed that come along with it, i.e. Prevailing wage and some other conditions. If they take over $1 million. So we continue to keep an open line of communication, and matter of fact, I left a message for him today, wanting a call back because we're the ones that actually applied for the grant, so I don't like the position that they left us in right at the moment.
Were there any costs associated with the town applying for that grant? Like, did we have to do, okay.
No.
I mean, we got them the grant. We also gave them a very generous tax break incentive program. And I think that, I know that we made that agreement with them, but it's been over 2 years, almost 3 now. I think, I don't know if we have the ability to re-examine that agreement, but I think they need to understand that the town made certain concessions to them, including fixing the property tax value and assessment of the property at a certain level, with the understanding that they would be making a significant investment within 2 years, and the time has come and gone. So I don't know if we can look at our agreement that we had with them to try to get them to move along, but it's been over 3 years since they presented to the council.
Are we giving them a property tax break as of the date they bought the property?
No.
Like,
We've
are they
agreed,
paying
though,
property
to
taxes on it now, or a reduction of it?
The council has agreed, once they start construction, but those are good points. I'll check with the town attorney, and, if we're able to, negate the agreement, I'll bring that back to the council and you can decide, and I'll certainly convey that to the developer that the council is considering that.
Yeah, and I would like to know if there's a limit, a time limit. Basically, it's an extension of
Right.
what the mayor was talking about.
I just don't want it to become another Ames.
Right.
Like the Ames property in Rocky Hill that sat there for decades.
Yep. We, if there is a time that, they get three years to do this, or 2 years to do this, and we're getting closer, and I'm sure all of us we get asked on a regular basis, hey, what's going on over there? And we don't have an answer, so it would be good to find out what their motives are going
Yeah,
forward.
I don't believe and I could be wrong, but I believe I'm correct that there is not a time limit.
Well,
There's more of a time limit on that brownfield grant.
yeah, and if it doesn't get acted on,
If it doesn't get acted on,
it goes away, right?
that's correct.
Yeah, and that,
But,
we cannot have that happen.
I still think, that, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, it's a black eye to Cromwell that we applied for it and we're not using it.
Okay,
Well, it doesn't hold well for good standing with the state, that's for sure.
But I'll convey that also. I'll check and convey.
So any further discussion on this building official issue, or does anyone want to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve.
Made by Al, seconded by Brian. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried unanimously. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next is item 2, discussion regarding bonding for track at the high school and other projects. So, we had applied for state bonding for the track refurbishment. And we did not get state bonding in the state bonding package that got signed by the governor last week. We did not get any of the projects, or any projects out of that, but we also applied for some steep grants for various drainage projects. We did not get chosen for any of the steep grants for any of the various drainage projects. And so, one of the things that me and the town manager had discussed is, okay, we were approved in prior, by our financial advisor that we could bond up to a certain amount for the middle school. It looks like we're probably gonna be bonding less than that. Is it appropriate to have a separate, either referendum or a separate, action to say, we had a bunch of projects, we tried to get funding from the state, we couldn't do it. We can bond for them and spend and be able to pay for them that way rather than do it through a capital project. But I just wanted to know from the town and from the town staff, is it possible? Is it something that's even worth looking at? Is it something that we should explore further? Are there projects that we think are big ticket projects that bonding may make sense for? Or is this something that we should just, not spend more time on and focus on doing it through normal capital improvements and not through bonding? I just know we're going out to bond in the fall, so we may have an opportunity to bond for, do a referendum and get additional bonding for some of these larger ticket projects. Or if we don't want to pursue that, or we can't afford to pursue that, then it would be go back to capital planning, and we would fold it back into the long-range capital plan. So I asked the town manager and town staff to look at various projects and let us know if there are any viable plans that this would be something that would make sense for. Because one of the things I know we've talked about on this council is we can't, a lot of times it's, well, we know we need to do this project, but we don't have the money for it now, so one day we'll do the project, and we don't know what one day looks like for a lot of these things. So trying to actually be able to see if there are ways that we can afford reasonably and responsibly to do these projects is what I wanted to explore. So with that, you have a memo from the town engineer identifying some projects, but I'll let the town manager and finance director speak further on it.
I would recommend, I just got this today, so, I would recommend, Mr. Mayor, give the councilors a few minutes to read John's memo, and then I'd be happy to discuss it, as well as the Director of Finance, with regards to bonding and or funding projects.
As far as bonding before the middle school project is done, or is that something we will wait to go to, I mean, it's kinda like, I feel like it's putting the cart before the horse. We don't, I mean, we anticipate bond savings, or not bonding for as much, but we don't know for sure as of yet, without the project being done.
We're gonna be bonding for how much?
Approximately 40 million, because we
Yeah.
have a 40 million short-term note that is being called in October,
Okay,
and we have to pay, so, we are.
Excuse me, Sharon, make sure that mic's on. Okay.
So we are gonna do our bond then,
I'm sorry, what was
in
it?
October.
October.
2025, yes.
Okay.
And what I do is I've been working with the project manager's finance office, and they give me updated cash flows, which I pass on to our bond advisor.
It appears they're gonna spend,
Well, would you like to know what they're at right now?
Yes.
Sure
yeah,
would.
give them the exact number.
They're at 51,069,708 in expenditures already. And we have been reimbursed 11,267,680 from the state.
So, I'm sorry, you mean 51 million in
Yes.
expenditures, not thousand?
I was thinking,
51,069,000, yes.
Yeah, not 1,000,
I was like, they got one hell of a deal, we're gonna have a lot of money left.
And we've been reimbursed 11 from the state?
Yes,
And so that's 40, okay.
yes.
So, I think Brian, your point is very well taken. Where this came from was in long-range capital planning, I think the town manager and finance director said, there's a possibility that we could explore a second smaller bond package.
Right.
And so I just wanted to have that conversation with everyone. So can you explain how, like, Sharon, is that something that's feasible? Is it wise? And if so, is there an amount of money that would be something that you think would be, if it is wise and feasible, that would be viable for us to consider, so we know kind of what universe we're working with?
So there's two different options, combining it with the middle school, which gives us cost savings because we have expenditures when we go out to bond, legal fees, bank fees, sorts of fees, so that would be a combination. We would have to have numbers and we would have to have it passed at referendum before you could add those numbers in. I did a few scenarios on just the 40 million right now. And you have to keep in mind these are estimates because when we go to bond, it's gonna be the current market conditions.
Sure.
Right.
And so these estimates are based on different
It is.
market conditions. If we do a 30-year bond just for the 40 million, in fiscal year 26, our mill rate will increase by 0.87. And in fiscal year 27, 1.23 mils, and that would be the highest. If we do a 20-year bond, it would increase by 0.97 mils in 26 and 1.63 mils in 27. But you have to keep in mind, those estimates are with a zero budget increase for the town and the Board of Ed.
If I can, Mr. Mayor, we have two projects right now where we have numbers, one being Cedar Drive and the other one being the track, albeit we're not, as, positive about the numbers on the track, because it's been,
He gave that in January, and I asked him for an updated proposal, and that's what he emailed me this week.
Who's he?
Claudio came from Claudio at the Board of Ed.
Okay, yeah.
so if you see number one, we're looking at possibly using LoSiP funds for the Cedar Drive, which we have about, $500,000, in that fund. I should have mentioned this earlier, I mean, the project's been estimated for approximately $650,000, but I just wanna point this out. Willowbrook Road, and I should have gave this during my comments, we went out on a sidewalk project. The project came in at $160,000, looking to sign a contract tomorrow on that. And, we were awarded, 239.
229, I think, 6.
229,000 from the state. So, the bottom line is, on Cedar Drive, using LoSiP funds, we very well may be in the ballpark, or we may have to come back for some extra funding. But that's one way to address that project. And then, I'm not sure about the track, but John made a good point. If you read, his memo, if we do the track and you wanna do something to the field inside,
You're done, yeah.
it should be done prior to doing the track.
Has anyone addressed professional patching of the track? I walked it last week. The lane number one on the inside of it has 4 spots that are in disrepair, but the rest of the track is absolutely fine. Is there a way to patch those spots? It's just on the edge, and it's 3 or 4 spots. It's the only place on the entire track that is in disarray. Is there a way to patch, and it's just the rubber, is there a way to patch that professionally for a much less cost than whatever Claudio has come up with to rip the entire thing up and repave it and then re-rubber it?
Claudio's been handling this, so I don't have that answer.
We can ask Claudio.
We can try and find out for you.
So Sharon, I just want to go back to big picture. So that $40 million figure is what we have the note on right now, assuming that that's the cost of the middle school. If we were to, I think when in long-range capital planning, there was a mention of a $2 or $3 million additional bond, and you go out once and you tack that on. Did you run numbers to say what the mill rate would be if there's an additional $2 million or $3 million bond on top of the 40?
I did
So a $5 million bond or a $10 million bond. Okay, so this is where we see the real impact.
So this is, let me get through, I have a few scenarios here.
Well, you're
So
looking at about,
So,
a quarter, 3/4 of, between 60 to 3/4% of a mil.
right, if we add, 5 million and we do 30 years, the first year impact is 0.52 and the second year impact is 1.41.
And that's in addition to the prior.
So
in
that's
addition,
with a
that is
$45 million bond.
45,000.
So 40
45
million,
When
right.
you say in addition, so that 0.5 is on top of the 0.7 from before?
It would have to be.
So wait, let me
Can't
go
go
It would
down.
have to be, it can't go down.
Can't go down.
No, he has the, so they structured this one a little bit differently than he structured the other one.
So,
So he structured this one, so, this one has the effect on the mill rate increasing as it goes down. So it's the way he structured this bond package. He did it more evenly,
okay.
the payments.
So I guess let me ask the big picture question. What is the delta between the two? So if we spend an extra I'm a layperson. Is this like if I have my mortgage and I put an extra $10,000, I put an extra $10,000 into my mortgage, my payment changes $20 a month? Or is this like like $500 a month of a change? Like how much of a mill rate difference is it if we bond the 40, the 45, or the 50? Or does it not really change that much?
It does not have it, for 5 million, it doesn't have a huge impact, but it depends on if you're going the 20 or the 30 years.
So if you do the
Right.
30, let's just say we do the 30, what is could you just say the numbers again? 30 for the 40 million and 30 for the 45 million?
So you gotta keep in mind, he's using different interest rates, that's also a problem, because my 40 million is older.
Okay,
That was, a higher interest rate than he was doing now.
okay, so we'll leave it the way it is.
Yeah,
but,
so, I
so
mean, it's.
Give me the worst case
he's using
scenario.
So
Current
for-
market conditions.
For 40, year one you said is what?
For 40 million, just, do you want the 30 year?
Yep,
Yeah.
30 year.
0.87,
And then in year two,
1.23.
okay. Same thing,
45.
yep, same thing for 45 million.
Yeah, he's using a lower interest rate.
Yep, noted.
And our bonded debt goes from 2 point some million to what?
Well, hold on, let's just do the
One thing
numbers
at a
first. So
time.
45, understanding it's a lower interest rate. Year one is, what would be the mill?
So, let me pull his scenario. So, like I said, it's the way he's structuring these, and it's based on a premium or a discount.
Sure.
So, with this one, let me go to the 45. So, in the scenario he gave me this morning, 45 million with a 20-year term, he's basing it on a lower interest rate, so we would have to take bond proceeds of 49 million. So we
Okay.
so we're doing it at a premium.
Okay, but, okay, go ahead, tell me those numbers, but I wanted to compare 30 to 30, but did he run it with 30 years as well?
The 45, yes, he did.
Okay, so let's start with the 30, so we're comparing apples to apples, and then we can compare the 20 and the 20.
So, so if you do 45 million at
Mhm.
30 years, we're borrowing 47,916.
Okay,
229. And then so this one is current, the one I'm using for the 40 million is last year.
understood. So what would be the mill rate on the 45 with the 30?
My calculations came in less.
So what are the numbers, and then explain
So
to me how? Yeah,
So in the first year, in 26, we're only paying interest.
Cor-
So
understood.
it's gonna be when he did the 40 million, he has me paying more. So now I have 0.52 and 1.41.
Okay, so let me just use the understanding that things have changed. So that is a one, over the 2 years, it's a 1.93 versus,
But they stay more evenly, the way he structured the 45 million, the mill rate increase stays higher for more years. The way he structured the 40 million, it
it
decreases.
retires earlier because it's less money.
Right, it decreases earlier.
So in a short term of 2 years, look ahead, and obviously we'll, if we want to pursue this path, we'll have to look, 10, 20 years down to understand when it retires. It's the difference between 2.1 mil rate increase over 2 years if we stay at $0 everywhere else, and a 1.93 if we do the extra money. So potentially, by spending more in the short term, the mill rate impact is less, but in the long term, you're gonna be having to pay off more debt over a longer period of time. Okay. So I suppose then the question is it better to, if we know we have $5 million worth of projects, is it better just to use capital expenditures and not take out loans to do those projects and do it through our normal course of business? Or is it more affordable to take a loan out and pay it off in chunks?
Well, let me ask
Yeah.
this question, because this is what's gonna boil down to, the taxpayers. What does 1 mil equate to in taxes per person in the town? So if our mill rate goes up by 1 point, how does that equate to an individual?
So if you do the 40 million over 20 years, it is an average of $102 per year.
Okay, and that's for 40 million.
That's per 100,000 of assessed value, so you have
Right,
to take in
right.
consideration that.
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah, okay.
Yep,
So if you have a $400,000 house,
then it's 408, yes.
that's just the school.
Yes, that wasn't the 45, that was just the
That was
40
just
at 20 years?
Yes,
Or,
that was it.
that was
would be-
40 at 20.
Yeah, what would be the equivalent for, if you did an extra 5?
At 30.
At 30?
At 30.
Or at 20, you just gave us
Oh, you
at
want to
20,
stay
so
at
let's,
20?
yeah, she just gave us 20, so let's stay with 20. So same scenario,
45 at 20 would be 115 per 100,000.
So $11 difference
11,
460.
per 100,000.
okay.
I guess, well, this has got to go to
No,
referendum anyways,
regardless,
correct?
if we chose to move forward with this,
Yeah.
we would definitely have another meeting where we actually start to drill down on what we would want
Right.
that to include.
Right.
And really workshop it
Right.
and have a really robust proposal, and then it would have to go to
Right,
referendum.
because, I think we have to justify the fact that we can get whatever projects we have to get done with whatever money we're going to borrow attached to the bond.
Is there any plan, we had talked about potentially getting together with Board of Finance and our bond professional, is there any energy around doing that?
Well, I think we're getting together with him in September. So I think we need to have,
Board of Finance is requesting him.
It's gonna be a joint meeting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have a joint meeting in September with the bond advisor, so
as
by
soon as
then,
there's a date, if somebody could, as soon as there's a date, if I could get it, so I could reach
Yeah.
out to him.
Oh, yeah.
sure. So I think the question for us, here, I guess all of us, is when we have that meeting with him, we're gonna need to kind of tell him what we're thinking about what we wanna do.
Yeah, we need to have our ducks in a row.
We don't
as
have
to
our
what
ducks in a row.
projects,
So my question,
prices,
though,
et
for the
cetera.
council and for, all of us, is this something worth pursuing and exploring? Or do we think that we should just do it through our normal course of capital planning?
Well, I
I
think in
think
the
it's worth exploring.
conversations with you, he ought to be able to get a very good idea of what we're trying to do, and you can give him the different scenarios, and then his job would be to make sure that we get an answer on how these different scenarios will be impacting our residents.
So could you have him run?
Explain to them how it works.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, well, I read John Harriman's
Yeah.
memo. The problem is, you guys need concrete costs
Well, yeah, that's what we're talking
for the
about, by
projects to go
September.
to referendum,
Well, right.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
But before we do all that work and start getting projects and paying for designs.
I want to know that
I want to know.
it's worth it to-
Is it
to
worth it to
pursue.
do it this way and structure it this way? So what I would like to know is, could the bond advisor send us 4 things? Or,
Let me turn my paper.
yeah.
Yeah.
So 40 years, or 40 million, sorry, 40 million at 30, 40 million at 20, updated with the, however he's gonna do it, 45 million at 30, 45 million at 20, and as subset, what is the per household, per mill impact in dollars and cents for each of those things? So, just like you just did, it's 102, 111 versus 118, or whatever. I want to know what, roughly, and it doesn't have to be exact, but once we see those numbers, we may be able to say, okay, it will cost the average resident an extra $80 a year to do it this way. Do we believe this is the way we should do it? And then we can we actually have the data and we can make that decision. Because we have projects, we have some projects that, we have some things that are out there like the Westfields that by January we'll have a solid number for. We have other things that we already have solid numbers for because we paid for the engineering last year for. We just had our sidewalk study where we have identified things that need patching and fixing and all that other stuff. So there are projects that if we know what the universe is and we decide that $80 per resident is worthwhile for an investment, then we can explore it further. If we don't think it's worth it, then we don't explore it further. But I just we have an opportunity to go out to bond, and so I want to see I don't want that opportunity to pass us by.
I get that, and I just want to reiterate again that you have to take into consideration the town's budget and the Board of Ed's budget when we come in with our budget numbers, because they also impact the mill rate.
And again, this is an outgrowth of one of our capital planning meetings. There was a comment that, we're going out to bond. You could add on a couple additional projects and go out to bond. One, save the legal expenses of it and knock some big projects off through bonding, and it may be not cost neutral, but it would have a lesser impact because you're spreading the cost out over a longer period of time. So we just need to assess if that's worth it or if it's worth doing it through normal capital planning, which is, each year we have to pick which 5 or 6 projects that we want to spend money on. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm of the opinion that if it's feasible and the numbers are reasonable, let's get some of these projects done instead of kicking the can down the road. I mean, we talk about them, we look for funding, we do this, we try for grants and whatever, but not a whole lot gets done on the list. If there's an opportunity at a relatively reasonable cost, I think we should tackle some of this stuff. That's just my opinion.
Sharon, nobody's
In all
brought up,
likelihood, though, we're not gonna be ready, because we're hoping to go out to bond in October.
We have to, because the 40 million is being called.
Yeah, we have to go out for the school in October. And, in talking with the bond advisor, may be ready to go February, March. Is that what he said?
Yeah, and so I did, he did give Tony and I some notes on if we do, another bonding, like another small bonding after we do the school. We would have to give the rating agency a heads up that we were doing this, and we would have to wait at least 6 months before we did another issue.
could you have him run the number for the 5 million if
It's a loan.
like in March of next year, and see what that would be if that's when you're thinking that we may not be 6 months or whatever it is.
See, the problem is we gotta have hard numbers on these projects. And we don't have hard numbers.
How do we get them?
How do we get them?
Yeah.
Well, like we're getting the numbers on, which one is it? Copper Knoll. That project is in the design phase and estimated at 2.4 million. Money has to be appropriated to, look at the project and, after it's designed, what the guesstimate is on the estimate.
Additionally, you're gonna have issues with the price of the bonding. We can make assumptions, but between now and next March, or February, or whenever it is, those numbers could be significantly different.
Right,
So-
because he uses current.
So
market.
we're gonna, you know, it's a little bit of a crapshoot one way or the other, and we're gonna spend money. It's just we wanna spend the least amount we can and get the top, obviously the top quality, which is what we're looking for. But we've gotta, as you put a couple of minutes ago, we've gotta start rolling forward with this and getting it done so that we can get these projects completed. Or we'll be talking about this, well, someone else will be 10 years from now.
Well, if we save money by doing the bonding for the extra amount now, why don't we just, like, stick with the 5 million, and then we'll know that we have that for, and see.
You have to have the projects.
you have to have the
so I
projects
have
in
to
line
give
and
them the
Oh, they have-
specific projects that we are using this
Oh,
money.
You
they
can't
have
just say, hey, give us 5 million, we're gonna use it down the road.
Oh,
You have to have
okay.
specific numbers and projects that it's assigned for.
Yeah, I
got
have
it.
to tell them
Okay.
exactly how much of that bond is going towards which project.
It would be nice.
Yeah,
Kick us an extra 5 and
I
we'll
mean,
use
we
it
could-
down the road.
Hypothetically, we could look at Copper Knoll in the track and ask for 3 million, additional. If the taxpayers, of course, approve it.
Technically, it would get us, you know, rolling forward, so to
Yeah.
speak. So maybe
But,
we should think.
I think we need to have an estimate on the mill rate for the counselors first, of where we're gonna be with the school.
So you want me to have them update the one that he gave me last year for the 40 million?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think that's important, that they understand what the mill increase will be with the school, and then if we were to add between
Projects
3
to
and
it.
5 million more on.
So you want me to have him do 3 and 5, because he did 5 and 10?
Well,
Let's do 3 and 5.
I don't see where you have 5 to 10 in projects yet.
Okay,
If we have the projects and we can present them to the council, then it would be their choice how they wanna proceed. But the bottom line is, right now, looking from John's report, it only looks like, well, maybe we could, if we wanted to increase it and put Cedar Drive and not use LoSiP, but it probably in our best interest to use LoSiP for Cedar Drive. So you're looking at roughly around 3 million. But a decision has to be made on the field.
Yeah.
Now, some people will say it's got drainage problems, and
Inside the
others say
track.
it doesn't.
Inside the actual track, the soccer field inside the track. Some people say it floods. Some people say that it doesn't need any drainage improvements.
We'll look 3 to 5 million and see what we can
Inside
come
the
up with
track.
for the councilors.
What school?
High school.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Can
I have a bigger.
question before you leave. I remember that we had to go to a second referendum for the middle school because the price went up to 72 million. So now I heard you say we just spent 51 million. What happened? I mean, not that I'm complaining, but.
We
Oh,
get
everything-
reimbursement from the state.
Oh, okay.
and everything else is, so
Okay.
they have encumbered the whole 72.6 million. They haven't
Okay.
spent it, but they have it earmarked for, they haven't started demolition yet, so I'm gonna have all those invoices coming in.
Okay.
I just paid the May invoice for construction, so I haven't even paid the June invoice yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sharon? I didn't mean to shock you. What bonds are coming to a close? See, we haven't mentioned that at all,
No, we actually,
and when?
so we only actually have 3, bonds outstanding. We have a 2016 outstanding, and the amount outstanding as of 6/30 was 3,885,000, and that is maturity in 2036. Then we have a 2017 bond for 6,540,000. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's 1,290,000 outstanding as of 6/30, and that is 6/1/2029.
So what is the nearest, closing?
2029 is the next one that drops off. We just had, the 2013 drop off. We just paid that one in full, so that's why, our bond payment decreased, and I do have the bond payments here that we've been, yeah, so in 25, our debt payment was 3,238,994. And then in fiscal year 26, 2,780,000, but that includes 1.5 million in note payable, so that is not a bond. That is the interest on the $40 million note that is being called in October. So that is in our debt schedule.
But you just said that we just, did something, what, July? Something's coming due? Or finishing up? One of the debts that we have out there, bonding.
Yeah, but that was 2029. Yeah, 2029 is the year. We just dropped off one. We don't drop
The next
another
one
one
that
off until
we'll be paying off is in 2029.
2029, 4 years from now. The next one drops off.
And that would decrease, if I may, how much would that decrease our taxes? Or should I say mill rate?
I can't tell you off the top of my
No, huh?
head. But that, right now, the outstanding balance on, that one is only 1.2 million.
Because it would be nice to know how much less we're gonna be paying. So could
But
some of
the
that less
school
we're gonna be
will
paying?
on your bond schedule by then.
Yeah. You'll drop a little.
You're gonna drop a little, but you're adding the school.
Yeah,
It's gotta be more,
thank you.
Let's see if we get the numbers as requested.
Yep. Okay, I think it's worth exploring, so let's get the numbers. Thank you so much.
And can we also send an email to Claudio and see about this professional patching? Because quite honestly, I think that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
let's
look
find
at
out
it.
if patching
Like I
is an
said, I
option.
walked it last week just to look at it, and it is not as bad as everybody's made it out to be.
We'll look into that also.
Great.
Thank you.
So let's move on to item 3, tax refunds.
Motion.
Good.
Motion to approve 1 through 4.
second.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Now we have moved on to citizens' comments. Citizen comments, please limit to 2 minutes per speaker. Please be respectful. Any citizens' comments? Any citizens' comments? Okay. I did get a question, which I'll forward you, Amanda, from our friend James Rood, who can't be with us this evening. I'll forward it, but let me just read the questions off. There's more stuff in the question, but this is about the reporting in the year-to-date budget under Munis for the disbursement of the Gilead settlement. So his questions are, has an increase in the legal expense budget for 2025 been formally approved by the Town Council Board of Finance and the taxpayers of the town? If there has been approval for such budgetary adjustment, I'd like to understand how the approvals occurred and why the amount reflected in the budget report is 3.4 million, not the full 5 million. And if there have not been an approval for such a budget adjustment, should the 2025 budget report be revised to revert legal expense back to the original value? And this is about how the settlement was reported in the legal expenses and in the munis. So I'll forward that to the town manager, and that doesn't need to be addressed because we normally don't address.
Why don't we address it?
Okay.
We
Expla-
addressed it at the Board of Finance.
We've already
Okay.
addressed this in here and the board.
Do
One
we
more time,
do we
please.
want to address it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
As response to
because
public comments. Okay.
Every month we're getting the same questions.
So, back in, 2022, when, the Board of Finance approved the 5 million, when the Town Council and the Board of Finance approved the 5 million, that was giving the town permission for that appropriation. So, I didn't need to come back, and I cleared all this with the auditor. I did not need to come back to Town Council and Board of Finance, because you gave the town the right to spend up to $5 million. So when it came about, and it did take us a little, so the payments came fast, and we had to do them immediately, but it took my office a little time to figure out how to get this on the books. And I apologize for the lag time, but that's why there was a lag, because we were trying to figure out how to account for it properly.
And they were in a special op fund that was approved by our,
It was
a
in a
town.
restricted.
Yeah, but that was approved by a town vote.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Since we're under financials, why don't you hand out and answer if they have any questions, if the mayor doesn't mind.
Yeah, sure, sure.
This is,
Mr. Councilman Waters' question.
Oh, yes, yes, I'm sorry, Al. Thanks, Sharon. And while we're passing,
Thank you, ma'am.
and I did explain what the charges were for.
yep. Okay, thank you.
So most of the legal fees were covered by Kerma.
Oh, including the, okay, got it. Okay. Any other citizens' comments? Any other citizens' comments? Hearing no citizens' comments, I will close it. We'll move on to item H1, which is discussion and possible action regarding the barrier netting system at the Cromwell Middle School. Can I have a motion to take it off of the table? And I think that has to be made by the people who tabled it, so let me just look at the minutes to see who tabled it. No, it can be anybody? Can somebody make a
I'll
motion
make
to
a
take it off?
motion, we'll take it off the table.
Made by Al?
Second.
Second by Jack. Any further discussion? Hearing none. It's now off the table. You have a memo from the Public Works Director assessing his analysis of the, and the town engineer, I'm sorry, to the, assessing the situation with the fence and the net. The town engineer is essentially of the opinion that the fence, a 6-foot tall fence, which is what is proposed there currently, is sufficient to block any balls that would go wayward, and is what is standard in a lot of other similar settings.
And I don't know if he's saying block any, I think he's saying block most. And when you run that through, because there can always be something strange that happens, somebody gets under a ball, but, going through it and reading through it and looking at some other locations, which is what I did, they don't, the ones that I saw anyway, don't have these additional fences on top of the current fences, if you know what I mean. So, I agree with the town, not the town manager, Public Works, I guess, was looking at it.
I agree with the Public Works Director and the town engineer for both of their studies.
The one thing to be considered, I did take a look at it along with the town engineer, and possibly, and I think the recommendation is not as part of the project, but to the south end of the field, given the close proximity to the parking lot, that may be the only area that would warrant.
Right.
Would you suggest not doing it through the project, but doing it separately through our regular town budget?
Yeah, I think it's written in here that,
Yeah.
they wanna do it kinda like they did the football field with the goalposts.
I'm
and
sorry.
They wanted
No
to do
offense.
it like the
I got
football
this,
field.
Yes, where you're catching the football from
Yeah.
the up.
Yeah.
rights.
Yeah. And not attached to the fencing or anything like that, so it could be taken down in the wintertime or in non-use or et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I had them do it, the football field, on both goalposts.
Yeah, I watched it, yeah.
And we, by mistake, got the wrong price, for soccer goal netting, and, I don't see it coming in at this cost. I know what we paid for the 2 nets that we installed, at Pearson Park. But, that would be in talking with the town engineer, that would be the area that, possibly we would be concerned about.
But, and I think something that we talked about last time when we discussed it was there was a comment that parents just tell the kids, oh, well, jump the fence and go get the ball. I would hope that if the ball goes into the parking lot and there are cars in the parking lot, that a parent would go, I, as an adult, will go and retrieve the ball and bring it back. I don't think we need to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to prevent common sense from prevailing. You know, I think that maybe there needs to just be,
I think they're more concerned with damage to vehicles or whatever else.
that's
rather than.
what was expressed to us last
Oh,
time was
well, I
that they would
missed that.
chase after the ball.
Oh, I missed it.
And I think, and that was the reason they wanted it, so that the kids don't run into an active parking lot, which I would think a parent standing at the gate could resolve that problem.
Right.
But, okay, so we can do it through our own internal, if we want to pursue it later, but I think the response to the building committee is that we don't want them to do design and spend money on developing this further. And I don't think we don't need a motion on that, do we, Tony? We just, the consent, or do we?
No,
No.
you can let it just die.
Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes. The June 19th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, are there any changes? No, I'm just looking at you, Paul. You
I
sometimes have
have
changes.
one minor change.
Oh, Ann, go ahead.
Well, it's only that my first name has an E at the end. So
Okay.
I just, like, okay. I gotta be like my friend Paula.
Okay, can I have, can I have a motion to amend the minutes to fix Ann's name? Made by Paula.
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Now can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion made?
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Brian abstains, right, because you weren't at that meeting? And next, we have appointments. J1, appointments, Andrew Sorbo, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, teacher and principal. You have his application in there. It says, as a teacher and principal for 35 years, I try to make all students feel welcome. He lives on my circle over in Cromwell. I think he's a retired educator now. Nice gentleman, wants to get more involved in town. And he said that when he was in school, as a principal of the school, he worked on climate and, all those kind of different initiatives, and so he wants to try to lend his voice to this. So it wouldn't upset majority or minority representation on that committee, so if anyone would like to make a motion to appoint him.
Now, was he a principal in Cromwell School System?
No, not in Cromwell schools. I can't, Wallingford or
That's-
Hamden
no,
or,
no, okay,
I can't remember what town.
Because we have a principal by Mr. Andrew already, that's why I'm just,
No, he was a principal in another school
out of
district.
town.
Out of town.
all right, thank you.
Do you have a motion on that?
Make
Do
a
we
motion.
make
So moved.
Okay, made by Al, seconded by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. A couple informational items you have that been you have these nice little bags that have been distributed. Matt Kowalski and Sarah from Youth Services and our prevention specialist has handed out a bag of promotional materials that have been distributed to the community for awareness message aimed at public awareness on opioid use disorder. And they encourage us to distribute and use the items in the bag to. So I'm glad you asked. Drug addiction. So drug addiction.
It's like previously owned cars.
Another way.
Yeah. So it's we were awarded a mini grant from the State of Connecticut Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services to do prevention and awareness activities, and so that's where some of this money comes from. So the original position of the specialist came from a state settlement with the opioid money, and then this is one of the approved uses. So that's an informational item. Another informational item. I didn't realize this. The marijuana facility has opened. They had a grand opening. I don't think they invited the town to the grand opening. But
No,
I
didn't
went
see.
by. It's a very clean facility. I literally, I didn't buy anything. I stopped in and just said hello, welcome. I see your banners say now open. But, you know, very, you know, it's really impressive. When you get into the lobby, they check your ID and then they buzz you in, and then you exit through a different door than the one you entered from. So it's like, and it's inside, it was almost like an Apple store almost. Like, they had their products under like glass cases, and it's very bright. It was like an Apple store. It was like as if you were going to go buy a tablet. Where the Riverdale Cleaners used to be. But they had a grand opening, and I don't think they invited the town to the grand opening. But it is open, and I know people had asked. What?
A lot higher than Massachusetts.
I thought they were pretty high.
Right, I heard, not that I went in there either, but, I understand that they're quite, expensive.
For a packet of their gummy bears or whatever they're called, it was $50 for a packet of like 8. So I was like, that's a lot of money for those gummy bears. But you know, people buy expensive wine. Maybe they want to buy expensive gummy bears, and God bless them because we get a percentage of the tax revenue. So, any?
I have one, I
Yep,
forgot.
go ahead.
Informational, and I know it's near and dear to the mayor. We're looking at an AARP grant, to, apply for more bicycle racks, through, social services.
Where are we at with the whole anonymous donation?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Senior center,
Still
I
waiting.
missed the last meeting, so.
Yeah. Been in touch, but I'm still waiting.
The word from the last meeting was the donor wants it to be restricted to as a primary senior center, so not a community/senior center. He wants it to be a senior center. And if he's gonna write it, if he's gonna write a $10 million check,
We
But
can do it.
ho-
we can make it work.
Wasn't the numbers 10 to 14 million?
Yes, 10 to 14 million.
But we could put it on a huge piece of properties and put a senior center there, and sometime, I
You
don't
gotta
know.
find that
I
You
know.
can find the-
And sometime in the future, add on to it and make it a community.
Well,
senior
if we
center.
get a
At our
donation with
expense.
but if we get a donation, yeah, let's not like what's the phrase about a prize horse in the face?
Don't look a gift horse.
Don't look at gift horse.
There you go. This is a very generous donation from this gentleman, and if he has conditions and he wants to see our seniors have something that's their own to call home, wonderful, wonderful. We will work to facilitate whatever we can to effectuate. I agree as well. And one day, as a future senior, I agree. Any other informational items?
Yeah, I have one, James.
Sure.
On June 30, I attended a swearing-in ceremony of Officer Mitchell Brooks to the rank of Patrol Sergeant
Nice.
in the Belden Room, and Mr. Salvatore was there as well. Right? Yeah, you were there, okay.
And any other informational items?
If I may ask
Yes.
a question,
Sure.
reference on the finance, where discussion regarding bonding for the track at the Cromwell High School and other projects.
Mhm.
Other projects.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
the
they're
list,
listed
they're listed in that memo.
John Harriman sent us a memo with all
Yeah.
the
Oh, okay.
drainage projects, Copper Knoll.
There's a lot in there.
I have one additional informational item. The Cromwell Creative District wanted me to pass along that their townwide tag sale, if you want to sign up to participate as a household that can register and be put on their map, you have until July 31st to do so, and the actual tag sale is on September 6th. So if you want to have your name on the map, I think it's like $20 or $25 to register. They'll put your name on the map for the tag sale, but they need to know by July 31st so they can get the maps made. Any other informational items? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn at 8:04. Made by Brian,
Second.
seconded by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please